Hey, I'm Rue. I'm a Colorado elopement videographer, sitting here watching the beautiful sunset over the Rocky Mountains, and I figured now is as good a time as ever to walk you through how to plan your elopement day, especially how to create an elopement timeline. Let's dive in. So when it comes to creating an elopement day, obviously there's so many important moments to capture, so many important things to consider. When planning your elopement day, timelines are kind of the last thing on your mind. You want to figure out a location, you want to figure out your permits, so feel free to check out some of the other videos I've made on this channel that can maybe help you walk you through some of those things. Having a timeline that can guide you through your day can actually be really beneficial for your elopement. And here's why. You might be choosing to elope to keep things stress-free, to keep it light, breezy, maybe plan some serene moments like this, watching the sunset over the Rockies. So having a stress-free day is a big part of having an elopement, and having a timeline that can guarantee you're stress-free can be crucial. I think when we hear the word timeline, we get a little bit jaded thinking of like a work day and how we have to go from point A to point B and we have to move from activity to activity and we don't want things to be structured and we want to keep things like light and breezy. But a timeline can still ensure you're having a stress-free day while continuing to move things along and making sure that you're doing everything on your elopement day that you are wanting to do at the right times. You don't want to miss a beautiful sunset because you were out kayaking, so just having a loose schedule to walk you through your day can be really beneficial. Now you know how a timeline might be important, let me walk you through an example timeline for a Colorado elopement. So most days begin with waking up. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you how to wake up. If you use an eye mask or you don't, or you drool or you don't, that's up to you, do your own thing. But I will recommend thinking through what time of day you want to wake up. If you want to get like up and at 'em and catch sunrise and get some amazing photos and videos, waking up before sunrise is obviously an important part. So I would recommend talking to your partner and thinking through what time of day you want to get up, what you want the beginning of the day to look like. As an elopement photographer and videographer, sunrise is often the best time of day for photos. However, it's kind of the worst time of day if you're not into waking up at 3 or 4 a.m. to get to an amazing spot for sunrise. So I would just recommend talking to your partner to figure out what you want to do. If you want a big adventurous elopement, waking up at 3 a.m. could be awesome because you get the early light right in the morning. Then you can come down in the middle of the day, have a nap, hang out, do whatever, and then maybe go out for another adventure at the end of the day. But starting your day is an important part of the timeline to kind of kick things off, already talking through what you want out of the day. Regardless of what time you wake up, I would recommend scheduling some time for getting ready. To kind of break down the preparation for each, if you're wearing a wedding dress, that might take a little bit longer than wearing a suit. However, I think it's nice to have both partners wake up at the same time. If one takes a little bit less time to get ready, then they can help the other kind of prep the day. They can pack the bags, they can make the breakfasts, they can kind of help move the things along while the other partner is getting ready. If you're waking up early, make sure you communicate that with your hair and makeup person so they can come and help you out before the sun comes up and make sure that's okay with them. If you're wanting to go a little bit later in the day, you can also go to a salon and get ready there. But I would allocate around 1.5 to 2 hours to getting ready, especially if you have a hair and makeup artist coming. Then maybe it's time for the first look and the ceremony. The first look is totally up to you if you want to do it or not. Some couples choose to do it, some couples choose not to do it. If you want to do a first look, but you're worried about the other person seeing you and it's just the two of you, having an elopement videographer or photographer to kind of separate you all, maybe you can drive up in separate cars. That can help in facilitating a first look that is, true and special to who you are as a couple and make sure that you all don't see each other before the special moment. I'm personally a bit biased and I love first looks, but I also am behind the camera trying to capture beautiful, memorable, meaningful moments throughout the day. And so having a first look I think is great for photos and videos, but I'd recommend talking to your partner again and figuring out what is right for you. Also, if you have family there, this can help calm the nerves and give you two a moment before you go out in front of your family to tie the knot and make it official. Often on the adventure elopements that we'll do here in Colorado, there's a little bit of time before the first look and the ceremony. The first look might happen at a little bit more of an accessible location, so after the first look, you and your partner can hike together to the ceremony location. So I would just do some research and maybe figure out how long the hike would be, or if you're relying on local vendors like us to kind of guide you through the experience, make sure that the allocated time for getting from the first look to the ceremony is kind of what you want. If you want just a 15-20 minute hike or you want a 5-hour adventure, making sure you're understanding what you're wanting out of the day and communicating that through the timeline. The key to having a really successful day is staying relaxed and stress-free. So if you're worried about anything, feel free to drop a comment below or reach out using the link below to our website. Next up, the ceremony. The typical duration of an elopement ceremony is usually a lot shorter than a traditional wedding. You might have been to some of your friends' weddings where the ceremony can drag on and on and on, and you just want them to kiss so you can go to the party and kind of have a good time. But elopement ceremonies are typically a lot shorter, especially if it's just the two of you. You might just exchange vows, put on the rings, and move on to the next part of the day. That was like the most unromantic way to describe an elopement ceremony, so I'm sorry. It's a very special, meaningful experience. Having captured hundreds of them, I cry every single time. But for timeline purposes, it typically ends up being around 20 to 30 minutes, so it's not very long. However, because I always recommend a full day elopement, and you can check out the video on why I recommend a full day elopement above, I encourage you to really think through what it is that you want a part of this special experience and try to include something additional rather than just your vows. If you're a musician and you want to write a song for your partner, that is always really special. If you want to read letters from your family, this can be a good time to do that. I think adding additional elements into the ceremony can really add and make this experience feel really special rather than just the two of you exchanging vows. However, if you want to just keep it simple, a 20 to 30 minute ceremony is normally all you need to officially get married. Then comes time for the post-ceremony celebration. On elopements, this can be anything that you want it to be. It can be a first dance in the mountains. It can be some champagne and some toasts for your family that are there. Yes, you can do champagne and toast out in beautiful wilderness areas. Just make sure to pack out everything that you bring in. You could do a little adventure photography session and go to the overlook of the lake and capture some amazing photos. This is your time. So whatever it is that you want to do on your elopement day, whether it's going to a farmer's market, playing music together, going on a hike, going skiing, going snowmobiling, regardless of what it is that you want to do, this is your time to do that. If you like adventure, seek out some adventurous opportunities. If you're into just sitting around and watching the sunset, I have to admit it's pretty good, so I'd recommend doing that too. You can have a picnic, like I said, you can exchange letters, you can do whatever it is that you want. And so having a conversation with your partner, brainstorming kind of what you want to do with the second half of the day can be a great way to kind of bring up these conversations and think about nothing is off limits. There are no rules to an elopement day. So if you want to go grab pizza in Breckenridge after getting eloped on top of a mountain, that's a great way to spend your elopement day. Go do it. This kind of brings me into my next point of planning in some relaxation time during your elopement day. I think it's easy to think of elopements as a 1 to 2 hour activity where you get ready, you have the ceremony, and then you'll be done. But I like to encourage couples to go a little bit beyond that and plan in some relaxation time and some meaningful time together. I personally find a lot of joy and relaxation in the mundane activities that I do with my partner. And taking some time to relax and soak in the surrounding and just enjoy each other's company can be a really great way to spend your elopement day. So I often encourage couples to give like a 1 to 2 hour block in the middle of the day that's just like chilling, hanging out, doing nothing. Because I think in those moments of doing nothing, you can kind of let your nerves calm and you can really start to be present. You may have heard from some of your friends that had traditional weddings that the day goes by really fast. And I think elopements give you a really amazing opportunity to actually slow things down and appreciate nature and appreciate these beautiful sunsets and appreciate these amazing vistas. Then finally, I'd recommend doing something at golden hour. We are currently in golden hour. We're moving into blue hour, which personally is actually my favorite time of day, which is after the sun has set and the sky gets really, really blue. But either way, at the end of the day, I would recommend finding some activity to do together where you can bring your photographer along with you. And as you take photos at golden hour or sit and watch the sunset, you can think back and feel validated in your decision to elope, because elopements hold a unique charm that traditional weddings often lack. Tonight, as I reflect on the countless elopements that I've captured, I'm struck by the raw, intimate beauty of these celebrations. Elopements can strip away the noise and stress of large weddings, leaving behind what truly matters: you and your partner deeply in love, committing to a shared future. The simplicity of that experience allows you to focus on each other. Your vows can continue to echo in the quiet embrace of nature. I've witnessed couples exchange promises atop mountains, beside serene lakes, and in secluded forests, their faces alight with joy and love. Each elopement tells your own personal story, unbound by tradition or expectation. It's a privilege for me to document these moments that are so profound and so pure. Elopements remind me of the essence of love: intimate, genuine, and beautifully unpretentious. And as I wrap up this video, I encourage you to think through this timeline for yourself. What is it that you love other than your partner? What is it that you want to experience on your wedding day? What are some emotions that you want to have in your day? Do you just want love, maybe in the ceremony? Or do you want the joy of jumping into an alpine lake? Do you want the laughter that comes along with that? Do you want the awe of being out in these wild, untamed landscapes? Because remember that eloping is about you two and your love and your emotions and your commitment to each other. So when planning and maybe thinking about all of these logistics and maybe starting to get a little bit overwhelmed about the whole thing, I'd recommend taking a step back and thinking, what do we want out of the day? And how do we create a stress-free timeline? Now you know how these days normally work. You can go about creating one for yourself. Or if you need help and you need help capturing your elopement, feel free to reach out to us via the link in the description. We love filming and photographing and planning elopements here in Colorado and would love to help make yours a reality. And remember that the elopement day is about you two, about your love and about your joy and about your commitment to a shared future. Hopefully this video was helpful in guiding you through what a typical elopement may look like. But if you need help creating an elopement timeline for yourself or location recommendations or anything of the like here in Colorado, feel free to reach out to me via the link in the description or drop a comment below. My partner Mallory and I run Castle House together. I make the videos, she does the photos and the planning, and we love helping couples have a beautiful, meaningful, intimate experience here eloping in Colorado. So if you'd like us to help capture your elopement and help plan your elopement timeline for you, get to know you, and figure out what your next steps may look like, feel free to reach out via the link in the description or drop a comment below. I love you. I'm proud of you for learning about this stuff, for figuring out what is right for you and your partner. Have the best day ever. I'm gonna sit and watch the rest of the sunset.